game-winning field goal block. It was special for our unit and for our football team.
And the way you guys had emphasized it, scattered it out, all that, I mean, did you have great belief that could happen on that play? Or
You always have belief. That's what you do. You practice it, and our guys believe in what we're doing. They always have great effort, so you always think that they got a chance to get it. And, it's throughout the season, you've seen he's been very close, whether it's Justin off the edge or Leo. I mean, in fact, he got his finger on a ball in that game. His fingertip on the ball on the second extra point. He came into the huddle and told me that he got his finger on it. So we knew that there was a possibility. But I mean, it's such a long shot to be able to get that. And we're fortunate. The effort and everything was excellent, and the guys came through.
It's probably hard to quantify this, but how many things do you think had to go right to make that?
A lot. I mean, the execution, the guys did a great job. I mean, whether it was Noddy sweeping the arm and getting that tackle to lean forward, and George and Leo hitting the C gap at the same time, and then you got Jack in the D gap coming hard, and then you got Justin, who he's really the engine of the whole thing, because if you don't have that edge guy, that fast edge guy, they don't overplay him, and the wing had to go out and put two hands on him, kind of loosens it up for everybody else. So that's why it happened.
They obviously did put extra attention to Justin Reed. Just wonder if you could quantify how fast he is off the line.
Yeah, he's the fastest I've ever had anybody. His get off, his reaction. What we do is time, how many frames it is when the ball snapped. How long does it take you to get off? He is consistently under a 10 frame get off, which is, by far really, really good. So.
Adam.
Dave, is there something about Chanel that sort of makes him good at that particular play?
He's the other. I mean, Justin has the best get off. Leo has the next best. I mean, they're within 1/10, or not 1/10, but one frame less. I mean, it's Leo. Leo is explosive, and he's a bigger guy. Bringing power and explosiveness, to the table, and just the effort that both of those guys and really the whole unit have, to make that play work.
The kickoff before that, just a miss hit by Butker there.
Yeah, the kickoff. Yeah, that was definitely. Yeah, it was a miss hit. We weren't. We weren't trying to kick it to him there. We were trying to kick the ball to the left, and he just had a miss hit. He's a human being, and it happened, and unfortunate. I mean, because it was the lowest of lows for us right there. We put the defense at the 40-yard line, and fortunately we were able to block that field goal to kind of clean that up. And Spags said, "A great block." I said, "Spags, we put you at the 40." Because I forgot about that. So, but it was, our field position in that game wasn't great. I mean, we didn't have great field position. That was the best play we had the whole day, really. So, fortunately it was the last play.
Rise put a couple punts in the end zone.
Yep.
What's that process like, getting him to kind of be able to kill the ball a little better?
Yeah, you want to keep working it. His first game of the year, he put one in the end zone for sure. I remember, and then he got out of it, and now he came back again he's got a real strong leg. We just got to try to tone it down, and it's just decide whether to go rugby kick or a regular normal punt. Like on the first one, he went normal punt, and then he went rugby and put that one in, and then he got back, into the zone. So we just got to keep working with him. He's young, and he's going to get better and better as we go.
We'll work our way back, Blair, and then.
Dave, you don't have many opportunities to return a field goal attempt, but this one did, and it seems like circumstances are good for that to have success.
Yeah, because you got old linemen on the field, and you got a bunch of fast guys, really field goal block, better athletes, and then McCall with the football in his hand. So that's the whole idea of it, is to take advantage of that. So we got the return, you set it up one way, get all those big linemen moving one way, and then you try to come back on them, and you got leverage on them, and that was the whole idea on that play. And they were really smart, because when we called the timeout, they changed. They put 55 in the game on their field goal team to help, because they knew we had a returner in the game. So that was real heads up by Ben Kotwicka, at Denver, to do that, because that's the guy that made the tackle. If they would have left 79 in there, I think we would have scored.
But you weren't convinced they were kicking there. I mean, you had your defense.
No, we knew they were kicking. It was our fault. We didn't get the substitution right, on that play right there. So that's why we had to call a timeout. That was on us.
Just going back to that final sequence, you mentioned the lowest of lows, and then obviously the highest of highs. Just personally, what are your emotions during almost like a roller coaster feeling?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. I mean, that's football. I mean, it's up and down, and on special teams in particular. I mean, you could have a bunch of good plays, one bad play in the day, and that's all you think about. That's all that was your day, that you had a gaff, So, it's ups and downs. That's the life that we live as special teams coordinators and special teams players, for that matter.
Last three, we're gonna go Nick, Todd, Vahe.
Dave, when you get a moment like that where that play decides the game and a win or loss, how much does that help you emphasize the players of every detail and every play on special teams? What would be the difference?
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, because that, today we watched it, and and I think they have the energy now to go and do something else. They want to do it again. They know they can do that. Now, but we have to, get it up. Maybe it's a punt block, or a big return from McCall. I mean, something. They understand that how important, each and every play is.
What was it like watching them back with the group?
It was today. We watched it, and it was fun. We turned the TV copy up real loud, so we got to experience it. And we heard the crowd, and I said, "How many of you guys have goosebumps?" And everybody raised their hand. So it was very cool.
Couple things, Coach. On that play, they go over to the right to get on the hash they want their kicker on. If they're on the other hash, do you flip your guys, or how do you guys?
Yeah, you rush. You want to rush where the trajectory of the ball is going. So if they would have kept it on the left hash, we would have rushed from the left side. Same rush, just would have came from the left side.
Personnel, or you just?
Yeah, we flip personnel.
Yeah,
Yep.
And then on the decision to try to do the short kick with Butker, what details go into that part when making that decision there? Because I guess the simple thing is, just kick it deep and let them do it. But what factors are you looking at to try to make that?
The short kick on the kickoff, you're talking?
Yeah, on the kickoff.
Well, we didn't just that. We were trying to kick a touchback. We weren't trying to kick it short.
Okay.
Yeah. He just had a mishit ball on that one.
Last one, Vahe.
Dave, after the block, enough guys went for the ball, right? I mean,
It's a live ball.
Too,
It's
right?
a live ball. They could pick it up and score a touchdown.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to get on the football.
I'm trying to remember, were you at Missouri when at Oklahoma State with a blocked field goal turned into a touchdown?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But that's
My
the
last
point of
year,
detail, huh?
yeah, my last year was 2000 there, so I don't know when that happened. I'm old, Vahe.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Go ahead, Matt. Are you leaving or? Okay.
I thought you were going to take off on me. We had some others going off. All right, good to be here on a Thursday, getting ready for another game. I don't have much to add, no words of wisdom, so I'll just open it up and let you go.
Coach, on the last drive they had where they got down and got in field goal range, I know
Yeah.
you guys didn't get what you wanted out of yourselves defensively. Is there any factors that were evident in that drive where you just couldn't get off the field?
Well, the 3 third downs are the ones that stick out to me. The first two, I believe, were in the 1-2 area, so those are tough downs. We gave them a little bit too much on first and second down. It was a different kind of, I can't really call it 2-minute because it wasn't a passing 2-minute. It was, they got the ball at the 40, right? So we're defending 25 yards. They could get to the 40 and kick it, I guess. So you really got to firm up. We didn't do that. They drove the key one, in my opinion, was a 3rd and 6. Now, had we stopped them there, they probably would have kicked the field goal there, and who knows what happens. Hopefully Leo blocks it then too. But then we would have to run out the clock in a 4-minute drill. But it all worked out. By God's grace, I think. Would we have liked to have done better in that series? Yeah.
Was there any consideration on, they get a first down late, was there any coaching point to potentially let them score there?
Andy and I were talking about it. And ultimately, that's the head coach's decision. So there was a thought about that on a particular down, and then we went the other way. But him and I were in constant conversation at that particular moment that you're talking about. I think offenses are pretty smart right now. When you do that, you're really banking on them making a mistake, right? So who knows what would have happened.
The first half was obviously very different than the second half. Could you put any rhyme or reason to why more success in the second half?
We played third down better, I thought, in the second half. The guys came out of the locker room at halftime ready to go. We started the game off well. I mean, 2 drives, I believe, we stopped them, and then it was we had the 3rd and 1 where they took a shot and it went in their favor, so they got a touchdown. That was a tough down for Trent. And then, all in all, what we would like to have done better is the 1 3rd down in the red zone. If we could have stopped them there and forced a field goal, there's 4 points. So the game's different at the end, just when that one play. And then, the pass that Trent had. And other than that, I thought we played solid defense all the way through until that last drive. I mean, we're called upon in a 2-point game to get the ball back to the offense or keep them, from driving, and we didn't do that. So that was the disappointment on our part.
Coach, has there ever been a time you any time in your career?
I probably wouldn't not have forgotten it had we had, so I don't think it's occurred. Again, if you go back to that and say that you do that, I'm going to guess that Denver was prepared for it, and now the ball's at the 1. The trajectory of that field goal goes like that, not like that. So I don't know. Maybe it worked out the way it should have, or in our best interest, so to speak.
Steve, with Josh Allen and James Cook, what do you have to be mindful of them in the run game aspect?
Yeah, listen, this quarterback is. I can't. There aren't enough superlatives to say for the extent of my knowledge in words is not good enough to do him justice, because he's tough. And then they put a back there that can run it. I mean, we've got to continue to play the run well, and then it's all the other stuff. But what they add to it is the quarterback can run, and he runs like a fullback. It's not doing this. I mean, he can. So we know what we're in for. We've gone against him quite a bit, but a lot of respect for him, and we got our work cut out for us.
Coach, Nazi has the 10 tackles coming back from the concussion. What's that do for his confidence?
Yeah, I would think it would be. I thought he played a real solid game. He had the one sack there that was he played that really well, and because you don't always make those, and he did, and we needed a negative play at that particular time. But I was happy to see that Nazi bounced back and played pretty good.
What would you like to have seen Trent do differently on the play?
If you asked him, he'd probably tell you that he could have been better at the line of scrimmage. It was a long down. That wasn't all his fault. I mean, we needed to get somebody to punch a hole. They put a lot of people in there. We needed to get somebody to punch a hole in the protection. They get the quarterback to throw it a little bit sooner, and that didn't happen. And listen, you give any quarterback that much time with, out there in man coverage, that's tough. But I bet he would say to you that he would have liked to have been better at the line of scrimmage.
Coach, I know it was a special teams play, but can you just put in perspective what Leo Chanel means to the entire team?
Boy, I'll tell you what, he does a lot for us, and he's a jack of all trades, man, and masters them all. But he's out there on special teams. He's on there for us in 3rd down, 1st and 2nd down. We put him on the edge. We put him at linebacker. And listen, he loves football, and it comes out every time he plays. But I mean, there was like 3 guys coming through there. But Leo leading the surge.
Emotions that you had while they're lining up for the field goal.
Yeah.
You have confidence, I know, in the guys to maybe make a play, but that's a hard one to say.
No, listen. If I'm being honest, I'm preparing. Okay, where do we go from here? We've got. All that other stuff's gone. Now let's go in the locker room and get ready for the next game. But, then I just heard, I'm not sure I saw it. There was a lot of, I just heard thump, thump. I knew something good happened for us just by the sound of it. I was really happy for Leo and for all those guys, all those special teams guys that went out there and made a play.
Last 2, Sam and Adam.
You mentioned the Trent play. What's he like when he thinks that he wasn't at his best on his play? Like, what's he like when he practices?
I thought he was pretty good. Trent's got a lot of confidence. I mean, I don't think that I can say that I've ever seen Trent, go in the tank because one bad thing happens. I didn't feel that way. I mean, he knows we rely on him, and I think he bounced back. I'd probably tell you he didn't have one of his better games, but I blame myself as much for that as Trent. I told him that. I said, listen, we got aggressive, and it made a tough down from him. But again, somebody's got to make the quarterback throw it a little bit quicker.
Adam?
Steve, how did O'Menahue look? I know you guys didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
How did he look, and what are your expectations from him? Not so much Sunday, because I'm guessing he won't play, but just down the line.
Listen, I've always told you guys I love the length. You can't coach that. He's raring to go. I mean, he ran around yesterday, and again, there wasn't much you could do. But he got off to the side and hit sleds, worked with Joe, got together with one of the practice squad old linemen. So we'll see how he progresses. But listen, he helped us last year when he was out there, and hoping for the same things, going forward this year.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, good. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
When you guys got DeAndre, he stepped right in for Juju spot. I guess, how do you incorporate both of those guys to bring up this strength play?
Yeah, it's a good problem. I mean, Juju's been great. DeAndre is now heading into his third week with us, being able to kind of learn the offense and what we do. But it's a good deal. They're the same but different, and so it's our job just to make sure that we're utilizing them as best as we can. But it's not difficult.
What are the challenges just with the Buffalo front?
Well, I think you start out schematically with what they do. It matches the back end. So we always talk about rush to coverage and how that fits. Those guys have always done a great job. We've played each other a lot over the years, so there's that. They're tall and lengthy on the ends there. Espinosa, he had a nice tip last year for an interception. They do a good job being able to change the launch points for the quarterback at the top of the pocket. They're just good football players. They play hard.
In general, what do you see from Xavier right now?
I really like where he's at. I know statistically the numbers aren't really where a lot of people will want him or any of us. You'd like to get maybe some more catches type deal, but he's been fine. I mean, you see some of the shots that we're taking and the stuff underneath is there as well. So we just got to be patient working through it, understand that those guys are working each and every day to get their timing down, for Xavier to learn this offense. It's not easy, but we have ultimate confidence. Xavier has been in a phenomenal mindset this entire time, and I think that's probably most important because the time is coming when we start hitting some of those, and it's going to be fun.
Matt, Hopkins has been around the league for a while. I'm guessing you coached against him when you were with the Bears, maybe more than once. But is there something you learned about him in your time together here, 3 weeks or whatever it's been?
Probably the biggest thing is his willingness to just come into this building and want to almost not start over, but there is a little bit of that with the mental side of it, of what we do, and then how we also kind of tie in what he has done well and merge it together. And then there's the trust factor too. You saw it a few games ago where Pat had to throw down the middle. He made a great catch. The more of those type of throws that we have, the trust level goes up. And then, I think also him communicating to us what he does well, he probably feels more comfortable doing that the longer he's here, and us explaining to him how we do things as well within the scheme, and then you just kind of work those two together.
This might be the same thing, Matt, but is that where you see he's made an immediate impact but room for growth? Where are the places you see that in that dynamic with Patrick?
Yeah, it's just there might be a specific route that he runs really well, and sometimes we may think he's covered, and he's not as covered as you may think just because of his catch radius, and so that's a good thing. We talked about it the first time we had we got together and talked about DeAndre coming to this team. One of the things with him is he doesn't drop many footballs, and so when you're a quarterback and you throw it to somebody and they catch a lot of the footballs you throw to, there's a trust level that really goes up. Taking the routes, taking the scheme, finding out what he does well. I think it just keeps growing more and more.
Matt, obviously the left tackle situation wasn't exactly the way you wanted it up in those middle quarters. What do you guys do on the fly and sort of adjust if the protection isn't where you want it to be? And I know Denver's got a pretty good front already. That was part of the game plan.
Sure, they have a great front. They're not easy to block, so you want to always be able to help, whether it's a tight end or running back. Whether it's the quick game and getting the football out so that they can't get to you. So there's several avenues that we take within the game when you see that. And then there's the mental side too, of making sure that those guys, whoever is out there, we make sure that we're critical, but at the same time motivating too.
How important is that, like during this week with someone like Kingsley, the mental side of a young player, not just game day dealing with that, but during the week?
It's huge. You got to be able, and that needs to be a strength of us as coaches, is there's a temperament to how you handle. He's young too. He's young. He's inexperienced. There's a lot that goes into that, but he's super talented. And so there's a little bit of a patience level to that as well. But for us too, it's also you got to get the job done. You know what I mean? There's a business side of it. So there's a balance between the two, and I think between Coach Reed, Coach Heck, Corey Matei, all of us, myself. There's a way of how you handle it with anybody in any one of those situations.
Last three, we're gonna go Taylor, Blair, Nick.
How does Wanye look right now injury-wise? Do you think he's going to be okay? Is it sustainable, through the season, or are there concerns, with the left tackle position?
No, I feel pretty good with him. I think, with where he's at, he's in a good place, and again, mentally, physically, practice. Just the thing I like about today's practice, Thursday practices, is they're fast and there's a lot of energy. So it's a good test for those guys like Wanye to see where he's at. But he's been great.
And I know it'd be maybe a little bit before Pacheco is up and going, but how do you envision it working between him and Kareem?
Well, just those guys both wanting the football, which is a great thing. And again, they're they're really good when they have the football. So again, positive for the Chiefs in the fact that they run hard, they're physical, they're violent, and Pacheco brings the he brings that energizer bunny mentality of the excitement, the fire, and you put that together with Kareem. It's a great 1-2 punch per se. So I think more than anything, it's just refreshing to see him out there. The energy, the positivity. He's such a happy kid. He runs hard, but he's a good player too. So there's that element too. I think it makes it unique for the defense.
Last one there.
Matt, with the connections that McDermott has throughout the coaching staff, how mindful do you have to be with that during the week in terms of some of the formations and kind of situational football that you may have a little bit more inside field to than most coaches?
There might be a little bit of that. It's probably also more players that are on that team that have been here than the coaches. Sometimes you'd be shocked when you get away from coaches and you move around this league, there's changes that go on. So there's a little bit of that cat and mouse game, but not too much. And then not to mention also the amount of times that we've played Buffalo and Coach McDermott, and it's been some pretty good battles.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
No problem. Take care.
Trey, with as much run, run plays get called in a game now, how much does it help you guys kind of get into a rhythm and a certain mentality and playing in these physical games?
Yeah, I think being able to establish a run is huge for a great offense. It allows you to keep the defense honest. For offensive line, I can speak to that, where it allows you to assert your will a little bit, get into the groove of the game, and sort of make them earn the right to rush the passer, wear them down a little bit. And it just helps the overall flow of offense and how you can get it rolling.
Trey, you've been with this same interior line ever since you got here. What's that chemistry like, and how much does what's the benefit of having played with those guys for quite a while now?
Yeah, man, I've been blessed to play with Creed and Joe my entire career, and dude, we have fun every day we come to work and we make fun out of it, and talk about ultimate professionals and guys who are consummate professionals every single day. They bring it, and at the end of the day, that chemistry that's built up, the trust factor there. I know the way Creed's going to react to certain things, vice versa with Joe as well, and the chemistry obviously and the bond is there.
Trey, it was noticeable after the game that you made sure to compliment Kingsley. Like when a player doesn't have, especially a younger player, doesn't have the day he wants as a veteran, how important is it to you to make sure you keep his confidence up?
Yeah, I think this league is driven off confidence, a little bit underrated in a way. You got to have the confidence to complete your job and the confidence to go out there every single day and think you're the baddest dude on the field regardless of what happens. And Kings was doing a great job. We'll be absolutely fine. And, just keep breathing life into a young player. I know when I was young, I had a good group of core veteran guys. If I had a poor game or things weren't going my way in the practice, I had a good support system to just keep your brothers up and keep going. But like I said, confidence is a big tenet of the game of football.
Does that happen like during the game as well, like in the huddle? I mean, does that game day stuff happening as well, not just here in the meetings or whatever at practice?
One aspect.
Kingsley, yeah, trying to make sure he's mentally right there, because if you get a little mentally off, you're trouble in a game, right, for just even one play.
Yeah, we all try to keep our confidence up at the end of the day. We get in that huddle, we always break it up together. Have you noticed, offensive line, we always dap each other up, the skill players as well, and we all try to stay on the same page and, at the end of the day, breathe energy and life. I think Travis Kelce's a great dude and a great example of that. Every time we're in the huddle, he's always trying to fire everybody up and bring juice into the huddle and, breathe life into each other.
Are you seeing the kind of response you'd like to see from a young teammate like that? Even when things aren't going well, if you're giving him that energy, is he giving back what you want?
Yeah, absolutely. Kingsley's a consummate pro. He comes to work every single day and is trying to get better at his craft, and at the end of the day, he's just keep on working. And just like all of us, we're just trying to be better football players.
Trey, from your game in Buffalo back in January, what do you kind of remember about that atmosphere and that game overall?
Yeah, Buffalo, the fans definitely brought it. It's a great environment. I have a lot of respect for that team, that organization, and you can definitely sense the passion in their fans. I mean, I remember pulling up in the bus, they're throwing snowballs and stuff at us, jumping on the tables. It's crazy out there. It's a great fan base. It's going to be a good challenge. Like I said, they have a great game day environment, and they have some great fans.
Your last few. This is, I mean, kind of in response to Nick's question. This has grown into one of the better AFC rivalries. What is the challenge to just keeping it routine like every other week, so maybe you don't get over energized in a way?
Yeah, I think it's easy in this sport, week in, week out in this long season that we have, the most important game of the season is going to be your next game. You got to treat every opponent that way at the end of the day. And like I said, Buffalo Bills are a great organization, a great team, extremely talented. We played them a lot in my career, in my time here. And at the end of the day, it's sort of the same thing. Every single week, whoever your opponent is, that's the most important game of the season.
All good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.
Just what's the first thing you guys have to do right on defense?
Try to contain Josh Allen, keep him in the pocket. He can make every throw. He's just increasingly dangerous outside of the pocket. Can create plays with his feet. Hard to bring down. So more so affecting Josh Allen.
This is one of the better environments in football. How much do you relish sometimes these opportunities to go in and spoil like a fan base's day in that sense?
I completely enjoy playing in Buffalo. They got the best wings. They really do. They have some of the best wings I ever tasted, Barbill. And their fan base, very similar to ours. very in tune, very passionate about their teams. So we know when we go up there, it's not only the Bills we're playing the fans also. So it makes that game more interesting and exciting to know that we're going to go in that type of atmosphere that's similar to our home crowd.
Just to be clear, they rolled chicken wings into the hotel for you guys.
Who did that?
No, I'm saying.
Where
Oh.
you can order online. You don't have a lot of time.
No. I'm going to go get someone to pick up some wings from Bar Bill, probably 50. But who's county?
Chris, with a guy like Josh Allen and his size and kind of his ability to run like a fullback, how tough is that whenever you're trying to tackle him and do it in a mindful way that doesn't upset the referees?
Very similar to Pat, trying to make sure we're rushing discipline in our rush lanes respectively. But I think he's a better runner than Pat. Pat more so as a sneaky runner. Fool you sometimes how fast he can be and get through situations. But Josh Allen, he's not fooling anyone. He can run through you. He can outrun you. And he's also a threat at passing the ball from every angle. He's limited his mistakes. Get the ball out. So even if you have him wrapped up, he tends to still throw the ball. So this is a guy we gotta make sure we corral defensively to make sure we affect him.
And how rare is it for a guy his size to be able to take off and be 20 yards down the field and look at an eye, suppose?
Yeah, he's fast, man. Big, fast, and can throw every ball. He's like a baby Ben Roethlisberger, right? With speed. With speed. So we know we're going to watch a little more film, see how we can affect him, whether it's 4-man rush, 5-man rush, or maybe even 8 people rushing.
When you played each other this many times, I mean, how can you surprise somebody or trick somebody? You guys seem to know each other so well.
Well, it's hard for us to beat him during the regular season. We gotta try to figure that part out. Very good team, very good team, and a well-respected head coach. And they're building that team defensively, and Josh is making some things happen on offense. So it's a complete team, one of the better teams that we may have the opportunity to face later on in the season, maybe in the postseason. So it's a very exciting game for us. It's a challenge for us to compete at such a high level and also compete on the road.
Chris, where do you feel like you guys are as a defensive line right now?
Where we at? Like, we got 10 sacks overall. We got to get better rushing the passer collectively. Growing pains. We're still young. As long as we are trending in the right direction and continue to get better every week, the pass rush is something we can work on.
Nate, or Harold and then Nate.
Chris, I noticed at the end of practice, early start availability, part of it, Travis Kelce.
Hey, listen, I'm going to say this right now. I have dunked on Travis so many times. All of a sudden, y'all caught the time Travis caught me slipping, okay? Like, we got to be selective with what we're posting collectively as a whole for the Chiefs, okay? We can't post that. Why? Who posted that? Yeah, why? Why? What was you trying to prove that?
It was just funny.
Okay, you can't post that. You know that.
We'll get it when
You didn't even give me consent, okay? No, it's good love, man. I've caught Trav slipping so many times, and I was in La La Land, and I was looking for him, and I'm like, where the hell is he at? Because he always try to sneak up and dunk on me. I done got him a couple times, and I couldn't find him yesterday. I'm looking around, and about the time I turned around, all I see is 87 jumping on my head.
One thing I've noticed over the last few years, Chris, is that you stay on the field quite a bit. You are becoming, an Iron Man in terms of snap count. Where did that sort of develop, and how cool is it when you know a team is trying to eliminate you from the game plan, but obviously you're on the field constantly to sort of dictate things?
Yeah, man. I work in the off season on my conditioning throughout the season to make sure I condition myself to, play a multitude of plays throughout the game. And it just goes a testament to my coaches for taking care of me throughout the week. So when the game comes, I can be able to accumulate a lot of plays. But hopefully the offense, they want to take 13 and 15 play drives, and I don't be on the field that long. Shit. Y'all take care.